Hi everyone! Today's material is about appositive. In this lesson, you are going to learn about the definition and the forms of appositive, the examples of appositive, the restrictive and non-restrictive appositive, and also why should we care about the appositive? Why is it important? And also, the last one, we are going to learn about the problems with appositive that usually appear in ELPT. Okay, so first things first. So let's start with the definition of the appositive. What is exactly an appositive? The appositive is a noun that comes before or after another noun, and it has the same meaning with the previous noun. Since it is in the form of a noun or noun phrase, appositive is often mistaken as the subject of the sentence. However, the appositive is not the subject. Look at the sentence. Sally, the best student in the class, got an A on the exam. In this sentence, Sally and the best student in the class is the same person. The best student in the class is Sally. Who is Sally? Who is Sally? Sally is the best student in the class. You will know it is an appositive by trying to omit the word or phrase within the two commas. Look at these two commas. Yes, the appositive is usually comes within the commas, and when you try to omit the phrase within the commas, and if that sentence still makes sense, then it is an appositive. So if you find a noun phrase within a comma and you omit the word or that phrase within those commas and the sentence still makes sense, then it is an appositive. Look. Sally got an A on the exam. Sally is the subject and got an A on the exam becomes the predicate and the object. You see, without the noun in the comma, without the noun phrase in the comma, the sentence still makes sense. Therefore, the phrase within the comma is the appositive. That's how you check whether the noun phrase within the comma is the appositive. Now, the following are the possible appositive structures in English. The appositive can comes after the subject. Look, the subject and then followed by the appositive, or it can come before the subject. The appositive comes first and then it follows by the subject. It is followed by the subject. If the appositive is in front of the subject, you only need one comma after the appositive. And if it comes after the subject, you need to put two commas. But if it comes before the subject, one comma is needed. Only one. And now, let's see the examples of the appositive. In the easy versions of the appositive, they are usually offset with commas, parentheses, or dashes. Yes, the appositive is not only placed within the commas, but it also may come in within the parentheses or within dashes. Look at this sample. Dexter, my dog, will chew your shoes if you leave them there. See, the appositive Dexter, the appositive that explain who Dexter is placed within the commas. The other appositive, my mate from school, is the appositive that shows who Peter is placed within the parentheses. Look. Also, the other example of appositive comes within dashes. A small town, only 25 minutes from London, is the appositive that describe Alton. What is Alton? It's a small town only 25 minutes from London. Okay, that's how you placed an appositive. So, if you find this structure, the noun or maybe noun phrase within dashes, parentheses, or commas could be appositive. Remember, it's only noun or noun phrase. Appositives can also be introduced with terms like namely, that is, in other words, and i.e. this one. So it does not only appear within kind of punctuation. Okay, it does not only comes within a punctuation, it can only be also introduced with some terms like these ones. Look at the sentence. A clairvoyant is a person, commonly a woman, who has the power of seeing that which is invisible to her patron, namely that he is a blockhead. See, namely. It is introduced with the word namely. There is but one law for all, namely, again, that law which governs all law. This one, that law which governs all law, is the appositive that explain the one law, the law of our Creator, the law of humanity, justice, and equity, the law of nature and of nations. These are some examples of an appositive. You can see more examples on appositive on page 39 to 41 of your module. An appositive is often just provide bonus information that could be removed without destroying the meaning of the sentence. However, removing that appositive will leave you with a question. How come? Look at this sentence. Peter won the lottery. We don't know who Peter is. And also, Dr. Pat sold 8 barrels on the first day. Which Dr. Pat? For example, in a place there are several Dr. Pats. And we don't know which one that sold 8 barrels of the first day. And what barrels actually? Nah, but if we put an appositive like in this sentence, Peter, my neighbor, won the lottery. We know who Peter is. For example, I know 2 Peter in your life. Peter Parker and Peter your neighbor. Maybe Peter Parker is your friends or someone like that. And the Peter that won the lottery is your neighbor. By giving the appositive can make your listener easily to identify which Peter that you mean in your sentence. And look at this one. Dr. Pat, the new professor, sold 8 barrels of biofuel on the first day. The new professor, the appositive, explain or describe who Dr. Pat, which Dr. Pat. Okay, therefore, sometimes providing the appositive will help your listener to understand which one, who, is the one you are talking about. And when an appositive is essential for understanding, it is called a restrictive appositive. When an appositive is needed to give more information to make your point clearer, the appositive is called restrictive appositive. What about the non-restrictive appositive? When the appositive is just a removable in bonus information, then it is called a non-restrictive appositive. And non-restrictive appositives are always offset with commas, dashes, or brackets. Look at this sentence. My best friend Amanda is on the honor roll again. In this case, Amanda is not restrictive because you can only have one best friend. We don't need to know her name. And we know that your best friend is Amanda. Therefore, you don't need to put Amanda as an appositive because we know who you are talking about. It's your best friend. My eldest sister Lucy used to be in a choir. Can you explain how Lucy is considered a non-restrictive appositive? Yep, that's right. Maybe you only have one eldest sister, and we know who she is. Therefore, Lucy, providing appositive Lucy is not necessary because we already know who your eldest sister is. This way, Amanda and Lucy is called a non-restrictive appositive. For various ways to present appositive, you can see your module page 39 to 41. And why should I care about the appositive? Why should we care about it? There are some importance of appositive. The first one, appositive are an efficient way to add information. It can be used to shoehorn interesting information or detail into your sentence without destroying the sentence structure. You can give more information about what you are talking about or who you are talking about by giving an appositive. Look at this one. Alexander Graham Bell, the man credited with inventing the first telephone, was declared one of the country's greatest inventors in 1936. The man credited with inventing the first telephone describes who Alexander Graham Bell is. Well, just in case you don't know or you are worried if your listener or reader doesn't know who Alexander Graham Bell was, you can just give the appositive to explain who he was. But if you were to remove the appositive, the sentence will still work. Look, Alexander Graham Bell was declared one of the country's greatest inventors in 1936. See, the sentence still work. It's okay to remove the appositive, but by giving you the appositive, will make your reader or maybe your listener know who Alexander Graham Bell was. It's an important information. And also, the second importance, the appositive can be a way of creating emphasis. Look, you can make emphasis on your point by giving the appositive. How to do that? The appositive is often a near repeat of the initial noun. If you want to create an emphasis, please put the appositive at a near repeat of the initial noun. Look, this tragic tale, was full of cruel war, savage devastation, unnecessary deaths, and the inevitable search for bloody vengeance. This tragic tale is the repeating information of this tale. Therefore, this kind of appositive also create emphasis. Which tale? And this one is so tragic and you want to emphasize on that. The appositive can also be put at the end of the sentence after a colon. To pass this course, you need just one trait: determination. After the colon, you put the appositive, and the appositive describe what is that one trait. And when an appositive is presented this way, it's called an emphatic positive. It's called an emphatic appositive. Now, problems with the appositive in ELPD. The appositive commonly occurred as a questions in ELPD. Look, we have this question, blah blah blah. John is attending the student council meeting, and the answer are right now, because of urgency, diligently, and my classmate. Look, to understand what do we need, we have to look at the sentence. You notice the commas. You remember that within the noun or the noun phrase within the commas is can be an appositive. And so if this one an appositive, then what you need in this sentence is the subject, because since John is the appositive, John is not the subject. To make the sentence complete, you need a subject for this sentence. And since you need a noun, since you need a subject, a noun or noun phrase is the one you need to complete this. And the noun phrase is D, my classmate. That is the only noun phrase in the choice. Therefore, the answer is D. Another example. Blah blah blah, Cedric never repeats classes. Look, in this sentence, you notice one comma before Cedric. And this way, you can notice that Cedric is the subject of the sentence. But still, there is a gap. Why is there a gap if there is already a subject in the sentence? It means that you need the appositive. You need a noun or noun phrase to fill the gap, since it is an appositive. And now try to look at the choices. Which one is the noun or the noun phrase? Wow, look, there are two noun phrases here, a straight A student and his perfect academic achievement. However, Cedric is a person. Therefore, you need to choose the noun phrase that shows a person, that is A. That's how you fill in the gap. That's how you consider choices and questions that include an appositive in that. Okay, so that's it for the explanation about the appositive. See ya!